Hey guys, how's it going? My name is still Blackblade and welcome back to a brand new vlog series featuring the ice trap build. Alright then, so for the longest time now I've been really interested into doing a trap build, and now with the with the release of the ice trap skill gem in the Ascendancy, you know, I finally get to make the build because the ice trap skill gem is actually pretty powerful and it's actually pretty OP. Alright then, so before we go into our stats, we're going with the Ascendancy class that we chose, and the Ascendancy class that we chose is actually the Saboteur. Actually, you can go with the Assassin, it really depends. I think you do more damage with the Assassin, but then the number of traps that you can lay will significantly be slower because of the difference between the chain reaction and the Assassin, skill nodes. But then anyway, so we did take the elemental damage, trap and mine placement speed node over here, 8% for our trap throwing speed, and then we get that 10% increase elemental damage. And then we've gotten the bomb specialist over here, wherein we can set up two additional remote mines. You can actually go with a little bit of mine DP damage if you want to, or you could implement mine into the overall build if you want to. And yeah. And then we gain the 8% increased trap damage, 8% increased trap damage. We gain the 4% increased area effect of each mine. If you guys want some, to include some additional, mine damage in your build. And then we get a 10% chance for traps to trigger an additional time. So I don't really notice this that much. So what this does is after the traps trigger, it's gonna trigger again an additional time. So I haven't really actually observed that much, although it does happen every now and then. Of course, then we have some more elemental damage and trap mine placement speed over here, and then finally we get the chain reaction. This is really awesome because we get that 40% increased cooldown recovery from our traps, which means we can literally throw traps almost always instantly. And then add to that, if you guys can, or if you want to include the there's actually another trap support skill gem which further reduces the cooldown of your traps again by 40%. So if you want to include that, you can also include it so that you could continuously throw traps without any without worrying of your cooldowns. But basically, this is already the chain reaction is already sufficient enough for the build. And then finally, for the last two skill nodes, we've gotten some elemental damage and resistances nodes over here. And then finally, the explosives expert. We gain a 10% increased physical damage, extra fire damage. Although that doesn't actually count into the ice trap. I guess that counts into the fire trap instead, but I haven't really tried it. So yeah, this is going to be primarily an ice trap build. And then we have a damage penetration of 8% over there for the elemental resistances. And then finally, we get the 10% reduced damage taken from traps and mines, which some monsters actually do. Now, when it comes to the skill tree, we're going with a shadow for this build, of course, and then we've gotten all of the elemental damage nodes over here, ending with trickery, and then we've gotten all of the life nodes over here with ending with blood siphon. Again, this is going to be a crit based build, so yeah, we did take the assassination over here. Cold Harder calculation, and then we went up over here to take some trap damage and mine laying speed, and then of course I ending with Saboteur. How do you read that? Is it Saboteur or Saboteur? I don't know. And then we went up over here to get some life nodes, and it was written in blood. And then we went up over here to take some spell, critical strike chances, and multiplier, ending with Doomcast. Simply because the ice trap actually is has a spell description right there. So yeah, it does affect via spell nodes. I mean the skill gems actually affected via spell damage and critical strike chance nodes. And then we finally went up over here to take some mine damage, trap and mine damage and critical strike multipliers, ending with blast cascade, wherein we get a 30% critical strike multiplier with traps, and then we get that 8% increase chance to gain a power charge, or 15% chance to gain a power charge when our trap is triggered by an enemy, which further increases our crit chance when it comes to traps. And then we went down over here to take the nullification, some life nodes over here, blood drinker, and then we've gotten the trap and mine damage nodes, ending with clever construction right here, here, and then of course the high explosives. And then we went down over here to take the survivalist for some elemental resistances and +1 to our maximum cold resistance. And then we've gotten the Heartseeker for some critical strike multiplier, and we've gotten a jewel socket over here. What you're trying to look for is critical strike chance globally, global critical strike multiplier, trap damage, trap throwing speed, and yeah, actually I got a pretty good roll over here with 6% increased maximum life. We have 16% increased freeze duration on enemies, because that's going to be awesome. Most of the times the monsters will get frozen with the ice trap, and then we get an 8% increased trap throwing speed plus 2% chance to freeze. And then we went down over here to take some trap damage and throw speed nodes, ending with Master Trapper for the 30% increased trap damage. And then we get a 50% chance to gain a Frenzy Charge, which I'm not exactly sure. It doesn't really affect us, but yeah, you could probably take a favor or the fervor over here for the for the additional evasion per Frenzy Charge, because this is going to be of course also based on Iron Reflexes, or turning our evasion into armor. So yeah, you may want to play around with that one. And then of course we have some trap damage and trigger radius. And then we went up over here to get some life nodes from the ranger skill tree. We've gotten the primal spirit over here, the heart of the oak, and then we've gotten the thick skin right here for some life. And then what else? So yeah, the iron reflexes right there, and then the golem's blood, and then another jeweled socket over here with a 14% increased trap damage, 15% increased cold damage, a 10% increased melee critical strike chance, which we don't really need, and then 12% increased area damage. So it's really hard to get a pretty good roll or perfect roll when it comes to jewels. Sometimes you get something that you don't really need. All right. So we went up over here to take Art of Gladiator, Bravery, and the Family Mana Flows. Now, we took two what do you call this mana really strong mana nodes, the Mana Flows and the Primal Spirit, because of the fact that the Ice Trap is actually doing a lot of mana cost. As you can see, it has 100. It costs about 100 per cast, and our mana is at 1.167 with a effective mana of 443. So yeah, it's going to be really difficult, not unless you guys could get a good mana regen on your gear. That will also help. Now, since we are at level 85, we still have a lot of levels to go. I plan on continuing on getting some more trap damage and trap radius over here, and then finally probably get all of the trap throwing speed and trigger radius over here, ending with expeditious munitions. Wow, say that 10 times fast. Alright, so when it comes to gear, one of the important gears that you guys may want to take is the Carcass Jack, to take advantage of that 20% AOE of the armor. Of course, the Ice Trap is of course also an AOE. So yeah, the AOE from the Carcass Jack will help a lot. And then of course the Maligar's Virtuosity. Any belt will do, just as long as it has life and resistances. Boots, life and resist also. When it comes to helm, the Rat's Nest, it's actually entirely optional. You guys can use whatever helm that you want to, but I chose the Rat's Nest for this for the additional global critical strike chance that it offers. When it comes to our rings, nothing really special, just life and then resistances, life and resist, and then finally for our amulet, we're going to be using an Onyx amulet just to max out or to get all of the requirements met when it comes to all of our attributes. Now, when it comes to our dagger, what you can dual wield the Divinarius, but then sometimes the daggers similar to this one is much more powerful, simply because of the global critical strike chance, the increased damage that it gives, and of course we get a crit strike chance for multiplier for spells and global critical strike multiplier. So you can get a dagger similar to this one, or if you're finding it very difficult to actually roll something like this, you can go with Divinarius instead. Of course, for the next dagger, we are going to be using this one. Spell damage, global critical strike chances for spells, and global critical strike chance of 40%, and then we get that 20% global critical strike multiplier. Now, for what's connected to our Ice Trap, that's going to be connected with the brand new skill gem also that GGG released in the Ascendancy, which is the cluster traps attached to increased critical strikes. Conk effect. The Conk effect is really powerful, guys. I highly suggest suggest that you guys use this. And of course, we have increased critical damage there and increased area of effect, so that, you know, when the ice traps explode, you know, it covers a huge area on the screen, and then lots of monsters will die with just, you know, one cast of the ice trap. Defensively, of course, CWDT, Molten Shell, and then increased duration and Immortal Call. And then we have Ice Golem right there, Enduring Cry, Enhance, and then Minion Life, so that the minion doesn't die that often. And then, of course, we have Herald of Thunder, Herald of Ice attached to Empower. Finally, we have Frostbite for our Curse, that attached to Whirling Blades, increased duration and faster attacks. And then finally, we have what is it? A Blade Fall attached to CWDT and Life Leech. Now this is actually a free utility spot. I couldn't really think of anything else of using, you know, besides these three. So yeah, you can choose to use whatever you want. And let me know in the comment section below what you guys would you know, suggest. Alright then, so our damage is at 14k with our Ice Trap is doing a 14k damage with a critical strike chance of 64%, 64.52%, and a critical strike multiplier of 530%. All of our resistances are capped, which is awesome, and then we got some stun, ignite, chill, freeze, and shock avoidance over there. And the map that we are going to be doing is a level 7 map. I do apologize, you know, when it comes to leveling, I kind of use the high tier maps for leveling, and then, you know, just use the some other low level maps, or sometimes, you know, I use high level maps when it comes to, you know, just showing the build. But then sometimes I use lower level maps simply because I've already used the higher level maps for leveling again. I just repeated that 2 times. So anyway, alright then, so here we go with the gameplay. Woo. Alright, so the skill has been working pretty great, and what's really good about this is that the explosion actually overlaps one another, so you can actually get a huge DPS if the monster is like in between all of those explosions. You get like what 4 times the damage because of the cluster trap. Where is my my golem just died? So yeah, it is a pretty, you know, cool skill gem, and I highly suggest that you guys give it a go. Although, you know, with the mana cost, you really need, what do you call this? You really need some sort of mana regeneration. Probably get a 50% in one of your rings, probably, so that you guys won't have a hard time when it comes to managing your mana. As you can see, I still, you know, I still have a mana flask in one of my, you know, flasks. Yeah, in one of my flasks. Simply because every now and then I'm still having a little bit of trouble, you know, when it comes to my mana. Alright then, with more gameplay, and then, you know, with the occasional use the Enduring Cry. Oops, forgot curse. I forgot that I have a curse. You know, sometimes that happens. Oops. Okay, here we go. Boom, die. Oops. All right, he's dead. Oops, my golem died. Didn't notice it. Where is that? Fuck. All right, it's already dead. So as you can see, with one cast, a huge group of monsters can actually die. It's a really powerful skill gem in my opinion. Especially so. 5. What do you call this? 6 socket. Especially so if we could probably complete all of the trap damage and you know, trap related skill nodes. Okay, so the boss is not over here. Oh, and by the way, I did get a early beta access in the Overwatch, and I'm really excited about that. But then, you know, I still have this to play, and I have a lot of builds that I need to update. And yeah, so I'd probably go back and forth with playing that and then this one. Yeah, I'm really excited because I saw the gameplay of Overwatch, and it's actually pretty good. It looks really exciting, and critics alike are actually saying that it's actually a pretty good game and a pretty enjoyable game. Alright, but enough about that, so let's get into just playing the game instead. Oh, by the way, yes, I did choose the, what was it? I did choose the Iron Reflexes for this build, simply because I don't really trust the acrobatics that much. Although it's really near to the path of the skill tree, so yeah, if you have pretty good some pretty good, what I call this, some pretty good evasion in your gear, then you may want to play around with that one and this one too. So yeah, whatever works for you guys is already okay. But for me, I've already tried it, and I've tried being one-shotted by monsters. So yeah, I trust armor more. Just in my case, it's a personal opinion. But if you want, you can still go with the acrobatics. It's actually pretty pretty close. So yeah. Okay, so talking too much over here. Let's just get into finishing the map, I guess. Oops! Oh my God! Hold on. How do I get inside that? Hold on. Where is the thing that's unique? Maybe that thing, that boss. All right. So that boss is the unique boss is dead, or the elite boss is already dead. And what do we have? All right. So I'm gonna go get back into getting of the rest of the items once I finish the boss. Okay. All right then. So maybe he's in the upper left. Yeah, probably. He's probably in the upper left. So let's go right there, right now. Okay, here we go. Some more elite packs over there. Wow, we're getting some pretty good elite packs. And if you might notice in the skill tree, I purposely didn't complete some of the life nodes. Now my reasoning over there is at 4.2k, I'm already doing what I mean is the build is already doing pretty good. And personally, I don't really need that much life anymore. So yeah. And the build has done maps up to level 11. Map tier 11, so yeah, those are pretty good level maps. And the reason that I'm not doing them right now is I ran out. Most of the time I do those maps just for the sake of leveling my characters, and I do these maps, lower tiered maps, just for you guys to see how it actually works. Alright then, so I guess the boss is up here maybe. Yeah, this is the boss. No, this is not the. Oh God, no, this is not the boss. Anyway, so I'm gonna get back to those items later. All right, so this is probably the boss. Definitely the boss. All right then. I hope I get a unique item. Yeah, definitely the boss. All right, here we go. Let's lay in some traps over there, and then let's curse him. Whoa! What the hell? Whoa, that's too much. Alright, so the boss is dead. Yeah, it is. Alright, so the boss is dead. It's really quick because of the damage that the ice trap is doing, overlapping into one another and then creating a huge explosion, and that basically, killed the boss. Alright then, so that's going to be it for me for this episode, guys. Again, let me know what you guys think about the build in the comment section down below, and thank you all so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'm gonna see you guys on the next part of my video. Have a good one. It's really quite